Alright everybody, so it is 2019 and I am officially doing an update on my 75-gallon Reef tank. I haven't done an update on this in a while. I've been just plugging away at getting things working together in this particular tank as with the other tank. It is a brand new setup, new rock, new sand, everything's brand new. So with all of that being all brand new, the tank does have to go through its growing pains, as you would call it there. So the first year issues that most folks have when they set up a new tank, you know, getting things as far as biological bacteria to work together, finding the right doses for everything in the tank at that point. Just making sure things and the corals all work together and are happy. So what's been going on with this tank is there's been some deaths. You'll notice that there's a few corals that are not in here anymore. There's been stuff that has grown, and just, you know, a lot of changes going on in the tank. So right now for this video, I have the white lights on. Pretty much I bumped those up here so you guys can see the tank and see what's been going on in here. A lot of the corals have been moved around. Stuff's still in the same spot. Things are happy where they are. And I've moved most corals to where I've noticed that they've improved or gotten better, or actually, you know, growing and showing signs of being successful in the tank. I recently added on a calcium reactor here to this system, so that's still, along with everything else, a brand new, I guess you want to call it a brand new toy for the system. But then also coming from doing the dosing with two-part has been a bit of a journey here. So as far as what we got going on from there, the chocolate tang has converted. It's now showing its two-tone colors. The Tamini tang's doing pretty well in here. I finally, as of Wednesday, got my trio of Antheus completed. That little yellow guy on the left there, or the orange one, if depending on how it's coming across to you there, was the last purchase. Black Friday I did pick up an Antheus. I was told by the LFS it was a lyre tail Antheus or an orange belly Antheus. That unfortunately was not true, and it didn't do too well with the other ones in here. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, this guy here was the first one I picked up. I was told it was a male and it was going to convert shortly, and that didn't happen. So I ended up going to my different LFS, a guy I know pretty well, which I get a few things from, and he actually set me up with this fully converted male right here. He was in the tank with a couple other males, so as you know, there was a bit of aggression in there, and most of the bottom of his lyre was his lyre tail in that sense was gone. He was swimming and eating, but he just didn't look too happy. So I went ahead and got him after watching the LFS feed all the fish and noticing that he was actually actively eating and going after food and wasn't eating it, spitting it out. Picked him up. He was a bit skinny, just because they had just got the whole new shipment in, and he's doing pretty well, doing pretty darn well in this tank. So he's got his tail back, he's got all of his colors. When he first got in here, he did his little dance with the first Antheus, and secured his dominance in here, and ever since then everything's been hunky-dory. The orange one, I got him Wednesday, or got her Wednesday. I crossed my fingers that it was actually going to be smaller than the one that I do have, than the other female, and I was pretty spot on with that. So the hierarchy is going to be pretty good there. I do still have my green spotted mandarin. He's chilling out on the top of the rocks. And the little jigsaw clown here, which ended up being like a black onyx, whatever these designer clowns are called, still hangs out inside of the Duncan coral there. So, you know, again, everything's, as far as fish wise, I think I'm where I am, with the fish in this tank here. Not really looking to add on anything else. Maybe a clown goby, that's up in the air, but I think for right now I got everything in here that I wanted to have, or have been looking for quite a while. Going from right to left here, all my blastos on the bottom are doing pretty well. I just picked up this piece here. That was my last 2018 coral purchase, and that was a decent tricolor blasto. I think it has some purple and green neon stripes in it, with some with the red serrations on it. So we'll see how that turns out once it starts to get bigger. This whole right hand side, things have changed here. There was the appleberry Monty, I moved it to the back. I am not good with names, so there are some corals in here that I will go that coral, or that acan, or that acro. This particular piece right here is one that I got from Rico. That is a green, the green planet. So I'm waiting for that to take off. It was growing and everything was doing great until I added my urchin, and I will talk about that in a moment here. That urchin is yeah, but it was doing pretty well. It's actually since I moved it over here recently, it's starting to get its base back again. All the other corals here, all these acros are doing pretty well. I moved a Leptophilion from the lagoon over this tank. On the back side here is a Starburst Montipora that I got. This is a Bali shortcake, some sort of bluish staghorn, a tenuous. We don't know what that's going to turn into. I've seen some hints of red and blue, but hey, who knows? It's a tenuous with the right lighting, and once everything gets synced up in here, who knows what it's going to turn into. I've had some that have gone from full green to blue to teal to all sorts of wild colors. I did have a piece at the top up here, which was the somebody told me it was a Walt Disney. Again, it was a tenuous that was all green. So I tell you these names, and sometimes they're like, yeah, that's what you had there. These two right here are unknown. I have 2 pieces of the 500 F load that has been confirmed by one of my LFSs that they in fact did have the 500 F low, and that was what I ended up picking up from them a couple years back. It died off. I saved a frag. So again, if my guy Rico here watches this video, I got 2 pieces of the 1 frag that I did have. I ended up having to break it off. It's encrusting and it's growing. So hopefully whenever you're ready, I'll get you those pieces there and get it all fragged off for you. This was the piece I also got from him also too. It was pretty much an unknown acro, so we're just gonna leave it at that. It was green and it went brown. Now it's a reddish color with peach and red polyps. It looks crazy under blue lights. The red planet up in the top, that was maybe about 3 different frags once I moved the tank. It's doing fine. It's alive and kicking. And again, I got a couple more unknown ones. This is one that I don't know. Same thing here. What you cannot see right here is what's left of that supposed Walt Disney, and this is a Millie at the top. Coming down to the bottom here, we got the Spongiode. It's a Montipora. I have I forget what that one was called, but it is stripping right now, slowly. At one point, the whole top of it was gone, but it stopped, and I'm pretty much happy with that. I attribute it to doing the whole stripping event when I was messing with the lights. I do these videos for you guys here, show you what I have in the tank, talk to you about what I got going on, but a lot of it is to help you guys out with this hobby here. If you bump your lights up, expect things to go wrong, and that's what happened. I bumped the lights up to what you see right now, which is practically all white. And I was trying out one of the API settings for the Hydra 26. I liked it. It looked nice for a while, but then I started noticing the corals weren't doing too well. So I decided now I'm just going to go back to what I used to use, which was a lower setting with more blue on it, and I can tell you right now the corals are doing amazing. It has stopped receding since then, and it's doing much better now. Down in the bottom left is my acan garden, and it is doing awesome. All the acans there are spreading out. They're encrusting on that rock since I've set it up. I have a favia on the sand. I have a couple of favias on the sand bed, a couple of brain corals. The clams are doing well. The favia in the back is hey, it's awesome. It's been growing and encrusting. I also have a couple more favias down at the bottom. A Mystic Sunset, or it was one of those Montiporas there. Somebody can probably tell me the name right in the comments below, but I think it was a Mystic Sunrise or Sunset, one of those Montiporas. My Dendrophilia, waiting for that to fully settle in. It did start off as one head a few years back. It's popped out a few more heads since then. It's kind of went stagnant and just went stale on the growth. Other than that, it's still reaching out, grabbing food, eating. But again, being that the tank's brand new, I'm not expecting massive amounts of growth. So I'm pretty much happy with what I'm getting right now. The calcium reactor's been spot on, and again, I got to get a video out on the setup of that. If you haven't watched the past two videos that I did, where I did an unboxing and I talked about just calcium reactors in general, especially with the one that I have, and just to set up on it and everything, go ahead and check that out. But all in all, this tank's doing phenomenal. The corals are doing great, and hopefully for this year everything explodes in growth, and all of the corals look 10 times better the next time you guys see it. So for right now, I'm actually going to go ahead and take you guys down to the bottom here to look at the sump. There was quite a bit changes there. I did change the light, so give me 1 second here. And all right, so first things first on the whole sump here. Let me take a pan back real quick. You guys can see everything that's been going on. Quite a bit of changes with the calcium reactor on the right and the fuse light on the left. This particular light has been a lifesaver with the Chaeto in here. I can't even tell you what happened. I mean, I started off with this little small softball size piece. It was never growing. It did at one point, and in the moment I harvested it's like it wanted to try to check out and not grow anymore. So did some searching high and low, found a nice horticulture set of LEDs here, and went to work. Now it has two settings on it right now. It's on bloom because Chaeto here has been growing like mad, and sorry for blinding everybody, but there goes the two settings. One's veg and one is bloom. I've had it on bloom. It's set on the apex, so don't mind me doing the switches back and forth. I am not doing any more manual work on this unless I have to. But the growth on this has been phenomenal. It grows out of I just harvested this maybe three weeks ago, and I cut it all the way down so I can get some of the dead the die off from off the top, rotated it, flipped it over, and put it back. Had a nice chunk, and it has just grown like crazy, you know. I did have the problem with the flatworms in here. They're still in here, but not in that plague size that I had before, so that's pretty good. Everything else is doing pretty well in here. I do have a brittle star, the carnivorous one, or omnivore, I'm not sure. It is carnivorous. I did have something drop in there, a little fish, and he went after it and got him. So he is a bit of a carnivorous one. So anything as far as food that gets down in here, he goes after it and he'll get it and clean it up. So that helps out in there with any die off. The skimmer's doing well. It is still pumping out bubbles. In the back of my head, I still want to go ahead and change out and get a bigger one, or get one with more airflow through the system, so I can keep the pH up in here. And when I say keep the pH up, coupled with this and this, I am sitting at around maybe 7, 8 during the day. At night it bumps up a little bit, but not too much. Again, when you have a calcium reactor, it tends to lower the pH, and as you guys can see, which hopefully once I get this this setup and tuning video out, there goes the effluent line, which is far in that corner right down. You can see how the Chato's growing. There's a larger proportion on the side where there's more CO2, or at least the CO2 alk-laden water coming out of, than there is in the front here. At some point it'll all level out, but it usually grows more on this side and then works its way over this way. Other than that, I mean, here goes the calcium reactor. It's been doing great. Tuning it was fun. Getting it spot on was even better. But here's the sump. Not much to it. As far as lighting goes, I changed the lights back to the normal schedule here. But as far as lights go, I know somebody did ask me some time ago. I have T5s and LEDs. The T5s that I'm using, I did change one of the bulbs out from the ATI Blue Plus to the ATI True Actinic, and as you guys can see here, so I went to the True Actinic on one bulb in the front and left the Blue Plus on the back, and then I have the two Hydra 26s on here. So if I need light, I got light. If I need less light, I can dim it down. But here's the corals with the blue lights on. It gets much bluer than this as the day goes. Things start to really pop when it's just like an actinic lighting from the LEDs, and then you have just the blues and the UVs on. Now, this urchin, I know I mentioned talking to you guys about this urchin here. This urchin, it's awesome. He does his job, but then he gets greedy. Right here is a spot of greed that he had. Took out a good chunk of coralline from the A-can. Nobody ever believes me when I tell them this urchin will eat coralline, or not coralline, but just the calcium skeleton of a coral. The sponge, this Monty, I'm just going to call it that. You know how normally it has these little green tips. All the little white tips were just as tall as the one on the left, if not just a bit taller. And every night he'll come in, sit right in here and munch them down. Don't know why. He'll munch on the rocks, and I guess obviously it's made out of the same thing that he has a taste for, and he'll get on top of one of the corals and end up tasting the same thing and take a chunk out of it. Did the same thing to this brain coral right here in the front. I had a spiral dragon here where that Antheus is floating over. It's still got skin, but he got hungry and ate that too. Did the same thing to the Efflo right up here. It's grown back since then. But yeah, he's had a taste for chunks of corals. And that's exactly what happened to the green planet over here. He got around the whole rim of it and bit off pieces of it. So hopefully I can get the growth up to a point where it outcompetes his hunger, and you know, it beats him to it. This guy, this bubble tip is the one that I mentioned before on the other video with the lagoon tank, and she has gotten pretty big and has been moving up the glass slowly. Don't know where she's going. Obviously it looks like she's reaching for a little bit more light. Who knows? But maybe looking for some food. I had it down in this spot, climbed out of that rock, went to the glass, and ever since then it's been climbing up. So as far as the Sunset Monty that I have in the back too, that hopefully, it has grown much bigger since I put it in here. I had it over in the lagoon. I moved it out because I figured I didn't really have anything that had an orange color on this side of the tank that was going to grow out. And as you can see, if I take this back, when it grows out and up, hopefully it forms a nice plate. But we'll see what happens there. This here chalice is beautiful. I got it, looked it up. I haven't seen one like it. I was told it's supposed to be, it looks like the acid wash, but it hasn't gotten big enough to be able to say, yep, that's an acid wash. But you know, other than that, it has a couple patches of green and purple and red and the yellow mouths on it. So at night, it just looks amazing. So hopefully for 2019, all of these corals keep growing as they have been, get bigger in size, and all these sticks at the top won't look like they do right now, which is unrecognizable frags, and show their true colors. Especially that Bali shortcake there. I'm really waiting for that to actually kick off. That's been a pain in the butt of mine here. Sometimes I'll get some of the colors to show through, and then other times it'll just go right back to green. So we'll see what happens. And until the next time here, you guys take it easy. Again, leave comments below if you have any questions, or if I didn't cover anything that you guys wanted to know about. You guys probably get another update here in maybe another couple weeks. But other than that, take it easy, and I'm out.